I'm curious how your choice of visual imagery relates to your construction of music.
I can illustrate that with a very interesting point. David Crosby and I, since 1978, were on Columbia Records.
Mm-hmm.
You just mentioned that you've seen the album, right?
Earth and Sky, yes.
You see the photograph on the cover,
yes.
Right? You see the rainbow on the
yes.
back? Okay. There is a thing that is becoming a thing in the business now because of the pirate rip-offs and inventory difficulties. They now have what is called a Universal Products Code, which is a white square with black lines on it that you see in the supermarkets on the cornflakes boxes
right.
and stuff, you know. Well, Columbia Records, when I sent them my artwork and they send it back, put in a white square with black lines with the rainbow coming out of it. And I said, listen, I don't think that this is quite what we had in mind, to have my rainbow come out of this Universal Products Code. I said it's totally, to me, dehumanizing, and it's industry and mechanics getting too close to the human soul. I said, and would you please take it off? And they said no. And so the next stage I said, listen, you must understand something. I have a really fantastic collection of photography, and to a certain extent I feel that I know what I'm talking about, especially with my own work. I said, so let's just forget about it and just take it off. I'll put the Universal Products Code on all over the next one. I said, but on this one, you must understand my artistic request and take it off. And they said no. So I gave them back their $1 million as a check on their desk and told them to stick it and move. And it blew their minds. So in terms of what you are asking, in terms of how the music and the audio-visual relate, they're all the same to me. The package of the album is just as important as the music that goes in. Mm-hmm. And a conglomerate like Columbia Records were really mind-blown that one of their artists would give them back $1 million because of such a small point to them. It was a gigantic point to me.
You, sure.
It wasn't a small point to me. It was insulting, it was demeaning, it was unartistic, it was short-sighted, it was all those things. They couldn't understand that at all. They just couldn't understand it. No, it has to go where we say it goes. So I told them to stick it and left.
It's astounding. I was curious as well, though, in that side of the business in interrupting the artistic process, in terms of that creative process when you're choosing lyrics for a song or a lyrical line. Do you work or try to have any particular visual imagery in your mind, or is it something that comes from a different kind of
That's a very interesting question. It was different on this album. Most albums that I've made the album and then tried to construct a cover that would convey the feeling of what I thought the music was in the album.
Right.
This time, the cover came before the album. I made this album to fit this particular image, which was a really interesting turnabout to me.
Yes.
Because normally, it's the music that is the primary function and the artwork that is a secondary function, right? But this time the artwork came first. I saw that picture and I understood. You see, it was taken with a Linhof panorama camera.
Yes.
I think the negative is like 2 3/4 by 6 2/3. You know, the album is only a 3-to-1 blow up. You know, so when I saw that cover, I just said that's just fantastic. My friend Joel Bernstein took the shot. You'll see him tonight on acoustic guitar with us at the concert. And when I saw that shot, I knew that I had to make an album to fit inside that sleeve.
Incredible. What other kinds of collections since 1978, what sorts of works have you added to your collection? Anything that's particularly caught your eye besides the laser product you were talking about earlier?
That was I would never put a piece of that work in the collection. It's not a photograph to me.
Right.
You know, that process.
And you're purist in that regards. You want the.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't put a small head of anybody, even though it looks like somebody in a photography collection. Even though it's it's supposed to be 3-dimensional photography, I don't believe it. You know, I'm sure that they've got an army of little gnomes that just chip it all out. You know, and stuff. But. When does the collection come here? Spring of '81?
Spring of '81, yes.
Boy, I sure hope that we can get together and have a nice opening. It will be really an interesting,
I'm sure we piece. Can. If you can come into town, we'll make sure.
Yes, I would at this point be able to say that it's very possible that I would be able to come.
Fine, we'd enjoy that.
Great.
Thank you, Graham, for your time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Busy schedule.
My pleasure. Hello. Most of you know me from my involvement in today's music. A lot of us like to share different art experiences such as painting and photography. Here in Cincinnati, there's a place that can give you much more. That's the Contemporary Art Center If you put yourself in the centre, you'll find yourself in the midst of a truly contemporary art experience. Why don't you discover us? We're right downtown here across from Government Square.